Morning. This is my first attempt at doing an all-grain brew, brew in a bag type of beer making. All my other experience has been with LME or extract brewing, so this is my first brew in a bag. Today I'm doing a 5-gallon batch of Oktoberfest. So the first thing obviously I'm doing is heating up my my sparge water, and it's reading in at 69 degrees right now. So I'll get back with you in a little bit when I get ready to drop my grain. Okay, while my water is still heating up, right around 100 degrees. This is a 42 quart pot, by the way, that I got Sportsman's. So if you have one locally there, you know, the sucker will go all the way up past 10 gallons. So it's a pretty good deal for about 60 bucks where I'm at. As for cooling this down, I didn't have a wort chiller nor the funds to make one. So I put about 30 gallons of water into a container. Let's put some rocks at the bottom so I wouldn't actually melt the plastic when I put the pot in there to cool down my wort. So hopefully that works pretty well. Got my Oktoberfest grains all right there, almost ready to go. I have my fermenting bucket with some sanitizer. This is the iodine stuff, so it's not the star sand. I'll probably wind up getting star sand next time, because I don't want it to make it look like it's changing the colors of my stuff. I really don't want any of that. And then I got another bucket of the same solution with some sanitized hoses and the thief and everything else I'm going to need for today. So I'll get back with you when I get ready to drop in my grain. Okay, so now I've reached my point of between 163 and 165, and so now I'm going to add my bag with some bulldog clips. I've cut the heat so that way it can dwell, sit, however you want to call it. Sticking all this in so that way I don't need to get any more grains in my wort, because that would not be good eats. Sanitized paddle. Just going to get that in there. Now it's time to add the grain. You want to mix in all the grain slowly so that way it doesn't clump up on you. I know I'm not exactly even on the camera. I'll let you get a picture of my mash once it's all in. Definitely smells really raw right now. I don't know if that's because we have to get all the sugars and grains out, but it definitely smells really raw. Sure to get all the clumps out. By the way, I'm nowhere near an expert. Like I said, this is my very first attempt at doing any kind of grain brewing whatsoever. And so hopefully my Oktoberfest will be a success. Okay, so now I'm hoping that my mashing temperature is within reason. Okay, I don't know if you can see that very well. I'm right at 153, 154, so I'm pretty much in that range. So now I'm just going to put a lid on it and start my timer. During the mashing time, I got this Brew Masters 2 in 1. It has timers and everything else. It's freaking great. But basically, it also says in the instructions about every 20 minutes that you want to go and stir it up and check your temp, adjust accordingly. So, like I said, I really suggest you get one of these Brew Masters. These are all the batches that I got going on right now. Like I said, this first Oktoberfest was an extract. Reason for the E, Bavarian E, Diablo E. Diablo Pale American IPA is, all three of these are Mr. Beers. This is the one that I'm doing right now because that shows the all green, even though it shows planned. So this is just showing you of how well this sucker goes. Okay, talk to you later. Okay, I had to wind up turning up my propane again. It's only actually been sitting for only for a few minutes. I mean, that's basically what the timer's at right now. And it dropped down to about the 148s. I need to try to keep it within that 153 to 156 area, I'm guessing. So I have a very, very low heat. The good thing is I have a basket inside, so the grain bag isn't actually touching all the way to the bottom where it can scorch it. So hopefully that helps. I'll check back and check it in probably another 8 minutes and see if the temperatures come back up. Alright, just about time for my very first stir and temperature check. Smells about the same from the very first time. Stirred up, no clumpy clumpies. And we're getting a temperature of about 153.3. So I'm still pretty much within my range. So see you again in another 20 minutes. So while we're waiting for the sparge to continue, these are some of the items that I got in my brew in the bag. So I'm so new that I don't know if this is good or not. Obviously, it'll make it taste like beer and everything, but are these the ones that make it taste really good? I don't know. I'm also using a dry yeast, S23 lager yeast. Once again, same thing. I'm just going to do it straight up dry. I don't know enough as for needing a stir plate, making putting the yeast in some DME and whatnot. But like I said, I'm still a beginner, and I'll play as I go. So that's some of the things that we're going to be adding today. All right, just about time for my next batch check. Same deal as the first time. Mix it up a little bit. Take a reading. There's no clumps in there. Starting to smell a little bit better. And we're getting about 150. So it went down a little bit. So I'm going to go and hit the heat. Bring that thing back up to about 153 to 156. All right, 20 more minutes and then we're done. Then after that's boil time. Okay, 50 seconds left of the mash. And then I'm going to start pulling out the grain and start bringing this thing up to a boil. I'm doing something a little different. The instructions tell me to put it in a different pot. I'm actually going to pull up the strainer and everything, lay this on top of the original pot and let everything drain. So I'll let that drain for a few minutes before I actually bring everything up to a boil. So the thing's just about ready to go beep, beep, beep in about 20 seconds. Right now, our temp is I was going to say 160. I know that's a bit high. So, oh boy, I'm glad it gives me like an audible. First time me using these timers. So I'm glad that I knew it was coming up. I'd be a little bit more disappointed if it passed and I wasn't aware of it. So, take off all my bulldog clips. Put these right over here. Actually, I should have done one more little slush around. All right, now start to bring up our bag. Man, they weren't kidding when these things are heavy. I'm losing some more. Let that drain for a few minutes. Alright, while this thing is draining, somehow I did wind up getting a little bit of grain on the outside of the bag, and I have zero idea how that happened. So I've heard people saying that squeeze the bag, don't squeeze the bag. Because I'm a noob at this, I'm gonna squeeze the bag. Get every little bit of goodness off of that. Because I know if you do too much, you'll get that something with an L, I think, that is a byproduct of the grains by squeezing a little too much. So this is hot, by the way, but I've been, grilling and everything else for a very long time. Work with my hands on a daily basis, so I'm all right with it. Then also I need to take a pre-boil gravity reading. That looks pretty good right now. There'll probably be a little bit more that comes off of that, but I'm not going to worry about it. So, let me show you what it looks like. So there it is. Once again, because somehow I did get grain in the wort, it's going to have some grains, but I already got a plan to take care of that later on. So when I get ready to bring this thing up to a boil and get my rolling boil going, I'll get back with you. All right, we haven't come up to a boil yet, but we're getting close. So all the proteins are starting to come up to the surface, and you want to make sure that rolling boil. The big thing I've always kept hearing is you don't want to let it to boil over because it's very sticky. I actually got a little bit on my fingers, and I could definitely tell that stickiness. So I know I definitely got the sugars out of the grain. So hopefully this is going to be a good batch. I also have my original gravity went in here. I got this in some water because I'm waiting for it to cool down until I can get a proper hydrometer reading with it for my original gravity. Once I get that, I'll pour that back in there because everything's been sanitized. So shouldn't be too much longer. Okay, I'd say that's a rolling boil right there. Might be kind of hard to see because of all the. There we go. It's a nice vigorous rolling boil. So now I got to go add my hops. I'm gonna put you down for a second. Alright, so I got my rolling boil. I'm going to add my 1.5 ounces of hops. That's a 60-minute boil. Okay, so I'm well past the hop break. I got a nice rolling boil going with the hops added. Definitely did some bubbling up, and then once it finished, well, that's what you see right now. So in about 60 minutes, stop it and put it in the bath. It's all fogging up my screen, so that's where it's going to be going next. Okay, while our my wort is cooking off right now, I guess it's been customary to have a home brew while you're brewing home brew. This right here is my first Oktoberfest that I brewed with an extract thing through Mr. Beer. I like Oktoberfest, that's why I'm brewing a big 5-gallon batch this time. So I think I have this on another video, but I still have more of it, so I might as well drink it. So here's what the sound is. These are this is carved up with carb tabs. The Loudies or Lorries or something like that. It was all right. It did what it needed to. Didn't have a whole lot of stuff on the bottom. I did see chunks, and I shook some up, and they all seemed to settle down pretty well. A little bit ahead when I first opened it up. I just did the standard 4 carb drops. So, little 12 ounces. I just pour the whole thing in there because these kept in my fridge for so long it stays all nice and cold. So, one for carbonation. See if I can get out of that light so you can see a little bit better. So, cheers. Oh, they do get better with age. So, I'll get back with you. Okay, I was way off on the name of the carb tabs. They're not bad. Once again, that's what carved up my Oktoberfest. The brew in the bag did come with priming sugar. This will actually be my first keg as well as the first all grain batch. So I'll use the carb tabs, basically emergency purposes if I need to. Other than that, they're just going to sit right there along with all the other priming sugars and everything else that I collect. If I choose to bottle it, and if I choose to bottle straight from the beer, or carb it up first and carb it from my tank. All right, time's almost up for my boil. 35 seconds left. Once again, I don't have a wort chiller yet. Got to wait till payday so I can make my own, because I'm not paying $150 for a freaking wort chiller. So as soon as the timer goes off, kill the heat. I'm going to dunk it right over here in my tank. That's probably about 20 or so gallons worth of water. Put my lid on my wort. So trying to cool it down as quick as possible. Best I can do while I don't have a wort chiller. So, give me a countdown. I don't know if I have to make sure it goes all the way down to the buzzer, or a little bit here or there will allow it to vary it. There we go. Okay. All right. So, flame out. Got my lid. I'm gonna leave it cracked just for the initial dunk. It's a little warm. I'm gonna let that cool for a quick second. Grab a couple paper towels. Why? Because I'm just too damn lazy to go inside and go get some oven mitts. That'll be stuff that I can get later. Ooh, this thing actually wants to float around a little bit. Alright, I'll let it all the way on. All right, we're in business. So I'll let you know when the wort gets down to proper temperature. Okay, so here's my wort cooling off in a tank. I actually wound up adding ice, which is all melted, plus another few more gallons of cold water. And like I said, I'm just gonna have to make do until I get a wort chiller. So you can still see we're running still a little kind of hot. Yeah, man, really hot. So I'm gonna do some research, see what time I could actually start drawing this into my bucket. But I'm pretty sure it's nothing over 100 degrees. So stay tuned. We'll get this sucker done. Okay, so after my wort is still cooling down over there, not much longer before I go and pull it, at least put it in the fermenter, because I don't really want to leave the top open too much longer, because I want to avoid getting any bacteria or wild yeast or whatever to infect this batch. This is my first one. So I did some OG readings, and my pre-boil reading was 1058 for my pre-boil. My estimated original gravity was 1058. I actually achieved a 1063 on this. I pulled out a little sample, waited until it got down to about 77 degrees, took a hydrometer reading and adjusted the measurement from there for 77 degrees. Because I'm in Arizona, it's really hard to get down to 60 degrees sometimes, especially outdoors. So thank goodness that they have that chart. So as you can see, or at least try to. Now the AVB, the estimated is a little lower. The bag itself has it between 5.5 to 6.3. But if I'm already pulling an 85% efficiency on this already, plus I got a higher gravity, I'll probably even have a better beer. On top of, even at the bottom, I usually put notes right there. So original gravity 1063, and the alcohol by volume is at 8% according to the hydrometer. So we'll see what happens after this. Next time you see me is when I'm going to be putting the wort in a fermenter. Okay, so my wort temp's about 84 degrees. Hopefully when I transfer it into the fermenter, I'll lose a few degrees from when it goes through the siphon hose. So inside, nothing special. There's plenty of videos about how to use the freaking thing. So, and then I got a strainer to collect any of the hops and stuff like that, or any of the grains that might have come out while I was doing this. So next pick you see me is when the thing's actually filling up. So here we go. Got it running through. Doing this will also help aerate the wort a little bit too. I'm kind of restricting it a little bit so my filter will work. That's already filled up. As you can see, the Oktoberfest itself is a little thick. So I need my second hand to deal with this. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, one thing I definitely learned, I definitely need a hop bag. I've already had to clean this thing out once. It's from all the hops building up. It was restricting my strainer a little too much. Nice aeration for the wort. Almost halfway there. So definitely need to invest in another bag for the hops. Okay, so I decided to stop trying to filter it out. Mainly because this is a fermenter and all that stuff's going to settle at the bottom anyway. Plus I was thinking maybe all the nutrients or something like that, I'd be sacrificing my beer. So like I said, this is my first attempt. All the hops that's left right there, obviously that's going to stay. Definitely going to invest in a hot bag for next time. I got just under 5 gallons. That mark right there is the 5-gallon mark. So I thought about maybe adding water all the way up to that 5-gallon mark. I might do it just before I go and ferment it and mix it up all nice and well. In fact, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to fill it up to the 5-gallon mark, and then I'll also probably help cool down my wort a little bit. And then it's going to be time to add the yeast. Okay, I went ahead and added the water up to the 5-gallon mark. Where's that? Mixed it up real nice and good. Did an aerate with it. This is all nice and aerated. Let's do a temperature reading. 77, 78. 79. Okay, it looks like it's about 79 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and pitch my yeast because I want to. And I've had this wort exposed long enough. Now, instructions say to go and pour it in. And actually to mix thoroughly. So that's what I'm going to do. Everything is sanitized, blah, 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 blah. All the same stuff that you've heard before. All right. Oops. Make sure I get all the little yeasties off my paddle. I know they're going to multiply and everything, but I want them there. All right. Next place, a nice cold dark spot. And here she rests for at least the next 2 months almost, it seems like. This is my little, what I call the beer room. It's actually the closet space underneath my stairs. So I got a little Mr. Beer back there with a Diablo IPA, some already conditioned bottles. I got a Hefeweizen conditioning right now. A couple more extract brews that I can do. The one in the front I can do Mr. Beer. The one in the back would be a 5-gallon batch. So, and a couple stacks of bottles, and my new project. So, I want to thanks for whoever decided to watch me. Probably make all these mistakes and everything. I'll give you another video when it comes time to put this in my secondary. All right, brew on. Cheers.